Now, you guys are also doing a lot. Something you mentioned earlier is kind of the web service security for
Mhm.
PI and DFS risk.
Mhm.
Talk.
Uh,
What are companies missing there, and what do they need to do to protect their organizations?
uh, it's kind of a twofold question. Number one, what does your DMZ architecture look like? I mean, do you have web services in one collision domain in the DMZ, business logic in another, and data in another, or do you have all three of those components in the same IP collision domain in the DMZ? So they share risk, completely share risk. That's
Right.
a big piece of it. I mean, we'll take a look at the DMZ architecture we'll scan it, find out what's up there, and then we'll take a look at your web services security and APIs that are public facing. Because they're right now like cream and coffee. Once you stir the cream in the coffee, you can't get it out. And web services security and API security are pretty much the same thing nowadays. An API request is a direct request to a data structure. If your team or your security provider hasn't mentioned the OWASP API top 10 security best practices to you, I'd strongly recommend you get a second opinion. I mean, at the County of San Diego, we couldn't wait for OWASP top 10, so we came up with our county top 11. And then when OWASP top 10 came out, surprise, surprise, they mirrored ours perfectly. We'd already started to put that stuff in place. Make sure that no connections are allowed unless they're authenticated, and throttling on the connection. If the connection comes in and it's authenticated correctly and then says, give me all data in all databases. Holy cow, that's crazy. Don't do that. OWASP, and we recommend you got to throttle those connection requests. Don't give them 10 million records. Give them 100 at a time or 1,000 at a time, depending on how well you know that person. From the web services security perspective, it's always a compromise between business agility and cybersecurity. I mean, if you look at the folks if you use any of the top 10 web services security scanners out there and take a look at the big boys like Microsoft.com or TransAmericaFinancialServices.com and scan them, you'll see that on the as an example, the observatory.mozilla.org web services security scanner, which is very well thought of. I mean, Microsoft, Transamerica, some of these other big companies, they get a B minus, maybe a C plus, because they really have to make a risk judgment between the agility of the site to provide value to the customer and absolutely strict cybersecurity. So it's like anything else. What you know or what you don't know is the big problem. If you're not scanning your company's web services infrastructure at least once a month, or at least after every patch, or at least after every content upgrade, then you're opening yourself up for some pretty big problems. And since the scanning is free, and they'll even do the analysis for you for free, and the analysis is really quite good, it's hard to beat.
That's a great tip for an organization to be able to leverage that.
I'm sure your organization or mine would love to help them with that.
That's huge.